Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to another video. Peacemaker just premiered its first 3 episodes on HBO Max, so in this video I'm going to be giving you guys a spoiler-free and spoiler-filled review. So there'll be timestamps in the description down below where I basically talk just spoiler-free of all 3 episodes, and then I'll go individual episode by episode, talking about my favorite moments, spoiler-filled, and I'll also warn you before I get into that. Before we get into the video, if you guys are new in here, make sure to hit the subscribe button and turn notifications on so you don't miss any time I upload a new video or go live. Both those things more time, let's get into it. Now starting it off spoiler-free, the most I can really talk about here is just how well I feel like they characterized every single cast member here. Episode 1 for me didn't do it as much as episode 2 and 3, and 3 did it the best in my opinion. I'll get into this later, but I definitely feel like episode 3 was the strongest one, then episode 2, then episode 1, and I think it's really great when a show starts off with 3 episodes and just keeps getting better and better and better because they all work together as a pair even better. Now episode 1, I will say it was just a cool premiere, but paired up with episodes 2 and 3, it's a lot better because episode 1 feels more like a backstory on Peacemaker, not necessarily like a flashback episode like the Disney Plus shows have, but it still feels like more context for people that didn't watch the James Gunn's The Suicide Squad movie. And the show also does a recap James Gunn's The Suicide Squad, so it recaps everything. It's not like you have to watch The Suicide Squad to understand this, but I feel like it would be better because I feel like you could better understand Peacemaker, and that's why I really enjoyed the first episode. It wasn't as much the story or anything like that, and then episode 2 and episode 3 is where it really kicks off. Episode 2, I don't want to say too much again because this is spoiler free. All I'll say about episode 2 before we get into spoilers is it's way better than episode 1 just because it actually feels like it progresses the story while still having like better comedic beats and still being just as or even more funny than the first episode. And then episode 3 takes it up a notch while being better for the story and still being even funnier and having even better comedic character moments and all that kind of stuff. And also I will say episode 3, everything just feels like it clicks in episode 3. I didn't feel a click in episode 1. Episode 2 was good, like the chemistry and all that was great, but episode 3 just felt the most natural for me, and maybe it's because I took time to get accustomed to this new group of characters, but I don't know what it was. Episode 3 definitely did it for me. But now getting into spoiler territory, we're going to talk about spoilers for episode 1 of Peacemaker, so if you haven't already seen the episode, like this video and come back later. But for episode 1, there's not too many spoilers we can say really. Episode 1, I just really liked what they did with Peacemaker's backstory, and every single episode you see more cracks in his morality on how he'll kill anyone and anything to get peace. And it starts off from the first episode because that's what this whole show is about, is how far will you go to get peace and how far will Peacemaker go. It wasn't the best story wise in my opinion until like the last 5 minutes when they really started setting stuff up. That's why I didn't like the episode as much as the other two. The other two genuinely felt like they were starting up something in general, but the first episode, it didn't really do much for me personally. And going on to talk more about just the ending of episode 1, the hotel fight is insane with the butterfly girl, and it really ramps everything up to another level, whereas before it just felt really slow. It didn't feel like we were really getting anywhere. For example, the Invincible season premiere on Amazon Prime, it premiered with 3 episodes. The ending of the first episode just really enthralled me because that's when Omni-Man goes around and kills the entire team, and this episode did the same thing for me. Whenever he was fighting that girl in the hotel room, in the motel room, it worked so well. The action was phenomenal, and the way that they ended it off, like with the sonic boom from his helmet, it just led perfectly into the beginning of the second episode. And I also loved like them trying to problem solve him getting out of the motel without getting caught, his interactions with the other people that were in the hotel, and just all that kind of stuff. That was all great to me. I genuinely loved the interactions, and I think this episode mainly built the scale of who Peacemaker is. It's just funny to see a regular superhero that no one else thinks is a superhero, by the way. No one else knows who he is, and that's what makes his interaction with other people just so hilarious. But now going into spoilers for episode 2 of Peacemaker, again, I thought this episode was miles ahead of episode 1, and we start off right where episode 1 left off. We start off with him having to problem solve and try to get around this entire motel thing, and it's just so fun to see that, and the dynamic with the other 2 characters is also great. I will say the main thing that separates episode 2 from episode 1, like I mentioned before, was the comedic beats, and I think it's because Vigilante is finally actually introduced. Also, all the side characters were great. John, Amelia, Leota, and I forgot the other dude. He's the main guy that's like leading all of it, and he's like the super serious one. Forgot his name, but all the side characters are really great. And starting in this second episode is when I really feel connected to the whole team dynamic. In the first episode, they met and it was like cool, like it's happening before we went to the motel. But in this episode, I genuinely had a connection to everyone, and I think that worked best. But now I want to talk spoilers for episode 3 of Peacemaker. It did what episode 2 did, but way better, just like episode 2 did to 1. It had way better comedy, way better dynamics, and a way better story. So again, since this is spoilers, I'm going to talk about some plot details. Basically, they do go on a mission, and this entire episode is centered around a mission, and the whole butterfly thing is so cool to me, how they slowly built it up in episode 2, and now they're fully diving deep into it. And I can't wait till next week when we get even more information on it, because the ending of the episode teased the location of a bunch of other like butterfly people, I think. And this one is where you see the most cracks in Peacemaker, because he's asked to have to kill a whole family, mom, dad, and then 2 of their kids, and you just see him, like, his face completely change when he's like, I have to kill kids. And then everyone in the everyone in the truck is like, you've already said you'd do anything for peace. And I think that this is when Peacemaker starts to contemplate, like, what's really, like, what am I gonna do here? Am I really gonna go through with this? Like, can I just accept that I'm wrong and stuff like that? Which I really enjoy, this moral dilemma in the Peacemaker show, because even though this episode is so comedic, and it's honestly, in my opinion, it's the perfect ounce of comedy, perfect ounce of seriousness, and perfect ounce of story, it all culminates really well. And I'm happy that they did the 3-episode premiere, because I don't think the episodes would have been this good on their own week to week. Episode 1 for sure wouldn't have been that good on its own. We would have at least had to have episode 1 and 2, but 3 being on there makes this more of a must watch. I honestly think you could wait till the entire series is over and binge it if that's your move, because I don't really mind, like, there's not too much tension between episodes. For example, episode 1 to 2, he basically does a sonic boom and that's it, and then he has to run back into the hotel in the beginning of episode 2. And the end of episode 2, there's not a massive cliffhanger, and episode 3 doesn't really rely on the ending of episode 2 nearly as much as 2 did to 1. So I would say binge it if you want, but if you do want to do the week to week, I'll be doing weekly reviews on here, spoiler and spoiler free, basically all in the same video. But yeah guys, that's basically it for this video. Let me know you guys thought of the 3 premiere episodes for Peacemaker in the comments down below. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Peace.